Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's Zen Chin yoga class, you will definitely want to have your props handy. You'll want to have your blocks and then go ahead and have a blanket handy as well. Again, you don't need any props to practice in any of these classes. They are modified so that anybody can practice, but it is highly recommended that if you do have blocks, please have those handy because they will be they'll be very helpful for what we will be doing tonight. So take a moment to gather your props and then meet me on your mat in a comfortable seated position. Begin seated in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a few breaths to bring you here and into the now. After a couple of breaths, begin to deepen your inhales and deepen your exhales. Taking a deep inhale through your nose and exhale side out your mouth. One more just like that. Inhale through your nose and exhale side out your mouth. Let your hands drop onto your knees. Take a couple more breaths. On your next exhale, gently open your eyes. Take a deep inhale. We're going to work through a couple of seated circles. So as you inhale, come forward and exhale, round to the back. Inhale, come forward, exhale. Circles don't have to be very big. We're just gently warming everything up. You can have really small circles, you can have really big circles. Remember what direction we're moving in. Because on the next breath, we're going to reverse our circles. Inhale as you come forward, exhale as you come back. As you inhale and come forward, try to open up your heart center, bringing your chest forward. And as you come back, invite a gentle round in your spine. One more just like this. Perfect. Come back to center. Inhale, chest forward for a seated cow. Exhale, round your spine. Seated cat. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, forward. Exhale, round. One more. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, round your spine. Good. Come to neutral spine. Come on over to hands and knees, the tabletop. Hands are under your shoulders, knees are hip width apart, right underneath your hips. And just invite a little bit of movement through here. Doing our circles again. You can take big circles. You can take little circles. Whatever movement you want to invite in to your body, now is the time. Just trying to gently wake everything up. Okay, go ahead and reverse your circle, the direction that you're going in. This is also really good to do first thing in the morning too. Just get the blood flowing. Okay, come back to a neutral position to your tabletop. Inhale, drop your belly, open your heart into cow. And exhale, round your spine, pushing the mat away into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. One more inhale. Extend your spine, open your heart. Exhale, round your spine, pushing the mat and the floor away. Inhale, come back into neutral position. Step your right foot back, tucking your toes. And on the inhale, we're going to lift our leg and our left arm up. So inhale, lift. And exhale, just tap the mat. Inhale, lift, making sure that your hips stay stable. We don't want to open our hips up, so your toes will point towards the mat. Exhale, lower. And one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And on this next lift, we're going to hold. Inhale, extend, and exhale, lower everything down, and come back into a brief child's pose. On your next inhale, come back to a tabletop. Step your left toes back. On the inhale, we're going to lift this leg and the opposite arm. So inhale, lift. Exhale, just tap. Inhale, lifting your right arm and your left leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Keep your hips stable. We're not opening them up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And on this last one, we're holding. So inhale, lift. Inhale, extend. And exhale, lower everything down, back into a child's pose. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine, to a tabletop. Now this time, we're going to go through what we just did, but we're going to invite a little bit more of a a heart opener, and wake up our spine a little bit. Now, we're going to be doing a lot with our lower back in today's class, so please remember to practice loving kindness with your body. We'll tune in, listen to it. If it gets too intense, back out and modify where you need to modify, okay? So step your right toes back, and on the inhale, we're going to lift our left arm and our right leg towards the sky, and we're going to move our spine as if we're going into the cow spine. Exhale, lower, round your spine into cat. Inhale, step back into the cow. You don't have to lift your leg that high. Exhale, round into cat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. And our last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And go all the way back into that child's pose again. Inhale, come back onto tabletop. We got to do our other side. So step back your left toes. Inhale, lift your arm and your leg up towards the sky, having your spine in that cow spine. And then exhale, lower and round your spine into cat. Inhale, lift. Again, your foot doesn't have to go that high. Exhale, lower and round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Go all the way back into your child's pose. Good. Inhale, look forward. Come up onto your hands and knees and step your right foot forward in between your hands. Inhale, lift up overhead, and exhale. As we lower our arms, we're going to move our hips forward. All right? So inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Whew, about to lose my balance. Exhale, lower. You can always use your blocks here too. Inhale, come back up to the center. Bring your hands, clasp behind your back. Remember your clasp. On the inhale, we're going to extend. So it's almost as if somebody has a fishing hook or something right in the middle of your chest, and they're pulling it up. So your chest is going to pull up towards the sky. Your heart is opening. Your shoulders are going to kind of roll back as we bring our arms behind. Our hands are clasped behind our back. And we're going to inhale, extend, and open, and just let your hands rest. It's almost as if it's being pulled towards the mat. On your next inhale, come back up. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat and go back into that child's pose. We're going to be doing quite a few child's poses in today's class because we're doing a lot of work with our lower back. And this is our lower backs love this child's pose. Inhale, come forward. Step your left foot forward in between your hands. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. And exhale, we're going to lower and do that whole thing on this side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We'll do it one more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Come back up into neutral. Clasp your hands behind your back again, but see if you remember your clasp before, clasp your hands the opposite way. So it's going to feel, if you're clasping your fingers and it feels funky, you've got the right clasp. Roll your shoulders back, open your heart, extend up towards the sky, and then just let the gravity pull your arms back towards the mat. You don't have to open up that far at all. You might notice a little bit of a restriction in breathing, and that's completely normal. Inhale, come up. And exhale, bring your hands back to the mat and come back into that lovely child's pose. Inhale, look forward, come back up, grab a block, place the medium side, so this wide side here, place that in between your ankles, and we're going to sit into your hero's pose. All right? So as you get here, take a moment to arrive. Let's tune back into our body, give our heart rate a chance to slow down a little bit. Place your hands over your heart. Gently gaze down towards your heart center. And let's just stay here for a couple of breaths. Good. And while you're sitting here and breathing, please know that when you do those heart openers, it's a very normal feeling to feel as though there's a little bit of restriction in breathing. And with practice, that feeling, that sensation begins to go away. It's not as intense, but it's a completely normal response from our bodies. We are exposing a very vulnerable part of our body, which is our heart. And a lot of us, we like to keep our hearts protected and to ourselves. We don't want to open up to the universe or open up to to the world. And so our bodies work with that by having this feeling of keeping it protected. And so you'll notice a lot of people might round their shoulders and try to guard themselves. They might cross their arms and guard all of their vulnerable parts. So just be very patient, and when you start to feel that sensation, take deeper breaths and just communicate with your body. Say, hey body, it's okay. We're safe. But again, if it gets too intense, show that loving kindness to your body and back out of it. Good. Bring your hands behind your back, clasp your hands once more. And as we sit here in our hero's pose, roll those shoulders back, heart center open, and see if you can invite a little bit of a back bend from your hero's pose. It's a very gentle one. You can even experiment with moving your hands up and back a little bit, away from the mat. Again, if you notice that sensation, come out of it. On your next inhale, come back up. And on this one, come up onto your knees here, just like this. Let's stay here for a moment. Go ahead and remove this block from between your ankles. Put it on either the tall. I would start with the tall, so put on the tall height. Put that right next to your ankles. Clasp your hands behind your back once more. Roll your shoulders back. Extend your heart up. Open your chest. And just gently bend back. Pushing your hips forward, or your thighs forward. Inhale, squeeze your thighs a little in towards one another to bring your back up to neutral. And we're going to move into a very gentle camel pose, okay? Very gentle. So use these blocks here. You don't have to go in deep at all, but if you're feeling pretty warmed up and you've had practice today or some kind of physical activity and you practice this a lot in your yoga practice, by all means, feel free to go into the full expression. But bring your heart or your hands to heart center. Inhale, extend, open your heart, extend through your spine, and it's like that fish hook again, as if it's pulling you up towards the sky. After a couple of breaths, you'll start to bend back. And as you bend back, push your hips and your thighs forward. Just keep bending and go as far as your back is going to let you today. You can also bring your hands, if you come back up, you can bring your hands to your lower back to support that as well. So you'll push your chest up and forward gently. And you can either have your hands resting on your heels, but this is a gentle gentle camel. So bring your hands to your block, and you'll notice you have a little bit more space there to breathe. And you can work on pushing your thighs forward, your chest up and away. And if you're ready, and if it's in your practice and you feel comfortable doing it, you can let your head release. But be very, very careful. Again, this is a very gentle, I don't expect you to go into that full expression at all. You can bring your hands back to your lower back. And on the inhale, squeeze your thighs in towards one another to help support you as you come back up to neutral. Sit back on your heels into that hero's pose. Move your blocks to the side. We will need them here in a moment. And go into your child's pose. Very gently, because your lower back is probably wondering, what in the world are we doing? Your arms can be extended out front if that's a better stretch for you. You can rest on your forearms. If you want to lower your head down and rest your hands back by your heels, you can do that. But just find what is feeling good in your lower back. Your next inhale, look forward, move forward onto your belly. Bring your elbows underneath or slightly in front of your shoulders. And inhale, come into your Sphinx pose. This should feel really, really good. Don't squeeze your glutes, but if you need that to help support your lower back, please do so. Exhale, lower down, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, come up into your plank, and then back into a down dog. Be very, very gentle with this down dog, bending your knees, just so your lower back can have a chance to acclimate to this new pose. Inhale, look forward, step your right foot, your left foot meets, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, fold over. And inhale, come on up, arms up overhead, and exhale, lower. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead, and then exhale, open out into goalpost arms. Inhale, extend. You can invite a slight back bend if you'd like, but open up your chest. Come back up to center, and then exhale, forward fold, bending your knees as you come down. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. Lower your knees, come down to your belly. Inhale to baby cobra. Tuck your toes and exhale back into down dog. Inhale, look forward, step your right foot in between your hands. Grab your blocks, have them handy. You want them on either side of your foot. You can have them medium height or the tall height. Inhale, come up into high lunge, pushing back through your back heel. And as we exhale, we're going to straighten our front leg and lower our hands down to our blocks. So you might want them on higher as we're here. You can figure out which one works best for you. As you fold forward, you want to make sure that you're pulling this right hip back towards the back of the mat. Inhale, bend your knee, come up into a high lunge. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Come into that forward half splits. Inhale, bend your knee, come back up. Exhale, straighten and lower. Let's do one more. Inhale, come back up. Watching your balance. And then exhale, fold forward. Move those blocks out of the way. Hands plant, step back into plank. Lower to your belly, however you do. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes back into down dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward in between your hands. Grab those blocks, medium or tall height. Inhale, come up into your high lunge. Find your balance. Exhale, straighten your leg. Pulling your left hip back towards the back of the room. Hands to the blocks. Inhale, bend your knee. Come back up to high lunge. Exhale, lower. Inhale, bend. Come up to high lunge. Exhale, lower. And one more. Inhale, up, high lunge. And then exhale, lower. Move those blocks out of the way. Keep them nearby. Plant your hands, come back into your plank. You can do knees first or lower down through chaturanga if that's in your practice. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes back into down dog. Inhale, look forward, step your right foot. Your left foot comes to meet. Hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, arms up overhead, and exhale, lower your arms to the side. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, open out into that goalpost arms. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, lower to your belly. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, tuck your toes back into down dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Ground down through your back heel. And we're gonna come up into warrior two. I apologize, my back will be to you at first. So, ground down to the back heel, front knee stacked over your ankle. As we inhale, we're gonna lift our arms and straighten our front leg. Exhale, bend your knee and come back into warrior two. Inhale, straighten, arms up overhead. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. And then exhale, come back into warrior two. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna open out into our triangle. So you might have to step your back heel in a little bit. But you're gonna straighten your leg. Reach out, extend, so you're gonna hinge from your hip. Reach out in front of you, towards the front of your mat, the front of the room. When you can no longer reach, just let your arm drop. Lift your left arm up towards the sky. Inhale, come back up. Walk your heel in so that your toes are in, your heels are out. And we're going to go into a forward fold. So I'm going to try to face this way. See if I remember. Make sure I do the right direction. That way you guys can see me. But we're just going to fold forward. So you're just going to hinge from your hip creases. You're going to fold forward and then clasp onto your elbows. Let your head just drop. And let gravity pull you towards the mat. Add in a little gentle movement of swaying back and forth if you'd like. On the inhale, we're going to walk over, so you're going to turn your left foot out because we had our right foot first. Come up into that high lunge. Ground down through your back heel. Open out into that warrior two. Inhale, we straighten our front leg. And exhale, we bend back into warrior two. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. And then we're going to set up for triangle on this side, so you might have to shorten your foot distance. Bring your hands out to a T. Hinge from your hip joint. Reach out in front as far as you can, and when you can no longer reach, just let your hand drop. You can hold on to your shin, forgot there for a second. Your foot, you can put your hand on a block or the floor, it doesn't matter. Open your heart out to the side. Lift your right arm up towards the sky, and you can gently gaze up towards it if you'd like, or just gently gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come back up. Walk those feet back in. So you have your heels, your toes in, your heels out. And we'll fold forward once more. See if you can do the opposite elbow clasp. If you remember, it's okay if you don't. Let gravity pull your head and your arms towards the mat. Inhale, turn your right foot, your toes towards the edge of your mat. Come up to that high lunge. And then exhale, just step forward. And then inhale, we're back up to the front. So I'm gonna move back to the front of my mat. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, bending your knees if you need to. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. Stay for your inhale. Exhale, lower to the mat, however you do, lower to your belly. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes back into down dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Ground down through your back heel. Come up to a standing. We're setting up for pyramid. So you are heel to heel alignment. Stance is not your feet. The distance between your feet is not as wide as your triangle. Clasp your elbows, your hands and your elbows behind your back. Inhale, extend, and exhale, lower over your right leg, pulling that right hip back towards the back of the mat, back of the room. Inhale, come up. We're going to switch sides. Heel to heel alignment, pulling that left hip back towards the back of, or towards the edge of your mat, back edge of your mat. Inhale, extend, and exhale, forward fold. Chest leads. Gaze towards your knee or your toes. Good. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, step back to the front of your mat. Okay. Feeling pretty warmed up. We're going to revisit those back bends. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, hands plant on the mat. Step back into your plank. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, lower your belly, however you do. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, come back into down dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands and lower your left knee to the mat. Grab your blocks, have them handy, put them back maybe about in line with or right behind your knee, but just have them back there for now. We don't need them quite yet, but we will need them here in a moment. So as you're here, just take your hands and let them rest on your right, like right behind your right knee. And let's just stay here for a moment, letting our heart rate come down a little bit, tuning back in, centering ourselves back with our body. And now we're going to move into our crescent lunge again. Right now we're right on our knee, on our left knee, and we want to get off of our knee for our crescent lunge. So you want to move, and you'll probably lose your balance doing this is okay. But you want to move, scoot your left knee back, and you'll notice as you do that, your hips begin to drop in a little more towards the mat, which is what we want. So once you get there, let's rest there for a moment. Bring your hands to heart center, and as you do that, begin to draw your chest up towards the sky. Stay here for a moment. And after a couple of breaths, begin to extend, open your chest, and extend your heart up more towards the sky. And as you do that, you're going to gently bend back, just like we practiced in our camel pose. When you get to the point that your lower back is saying, nope, don't go anymore, then you just drop your hands back behind you. And as you do this, you'll notice your shoulders will begin to roll back and you'll start to drop in a little bit closer to the mat. You'll definitely begin to feel this in your left thigh. Inhale, come back up, push back up into that neutral position. And for this one, we're gonna move a little bit deeper into the pose. So you wanna have your blocks nearby so that you can use them to help support your hands. So move back into your crescent lunge, dropping your hips down and towards the mat. You can use your hands again at heart center if you'd like, if that helps. After a couple of breaths, you'll begin to lengthen through your spine, opening your chest, and your heart moves up towards the sky. Again, as if somebody had that hook. And if after a couple of breaths, you want to reach back towards the back of your mat, you let your hands dangle if you want, or you can use your blocks. And as you use your blocks, if your blocks are back behind you, it allows for more space to open more up into that heart opening pose. And if your back is feeling okay, if this is in your practice and you want to deepen your crescent more, you can go into closer to the full expression of the pose by bringing your arms up overhead. I'm gonna stay here though, my lower back, and my thighs are like, no, don't move anymore. So, okay, body, I got it. Inhale, push through your front heel. So you're coming up out of your left thigh and gently come back up to resting your hands on your right knee. And then very gently walk your hands down to the mat. Exhale, move your hips back into the half splits. You can use your hand or use your blocks up here if you'd like, but we want to invite a little bit of a release in our lower back and our left thigh. Very gentle. It's just helping bring everything back into that neutral, balanced position. Move your blocks out of the way and exhale yourself back into your child's pose. On your next inhale, look forward. Come up to your hands and knees. Step your right foot, left foot back so that you're in your plank. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, lower your belly to the mat. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes and come back into down dog. All right, we gotta do crescent on the other side. So step your left foot forward in between your hands and drop your right knee towards the mat. For this part, if you need to tuck your back toes for the balance, you can do that, but you'll eventually want to have your toes flat on the mat. But for now, we're just going to arrive here, place your hands, rest them right behind your left knee. You don't have to worry about dropping your hips forward. I feel mine already trying to, it's like my body knows what's next. After a couple of breaths, scooch that right hip back a little so that you're not right on your knee, but the flesh right above your right knee. Once you get there, let your hands rest on your knee again, your left thigh, and let your hips drop in towards the mat. Bring your hands to heart center. After a couple of breaths, begin to push your chest up. You're gonna open your chest and push it up towards the sky. Again, like somebody has that hook on you, trying to reel you in. If you really push through your left heel, it'll help you balance. And if you need some more cushion for your back knee, you can roll up a blanket and let your knee rest on that or another mat. Let your hands drop behind you, dropping down towards the mat. Opening your heart, opening your chest, your shoulders are rolled back a little. Next inhale, come back up into that neutral. If you need to do the half splits, just to invite a little bit of a counter movement there, by all means, please do that. Don't forget to practice that loving kindness with your body, especially your lower back. Our lower backs are very sensitive. And when you're ready, come back forward into that crescent lunge. Have your blocks handy, because we're going to move into that full expression again. So if you need your blocks, push them back towards your back thigh. So inhale, bring your hands to heart center. Take a couple of breaths, and after a couple of breaths, begin to pull your chest up towards the sky, opening your heart. Roll back your shoulders, and as you roll back your shoulders, your hands will come back towards the mat. You can stay here or use your blocks. And like I said, as you notice before, when you use your blocks, you have more space, so you can work on that back bend, opening your heart if you would like. And if you are practicing that full expression of crescent lunge, you like to lift your arms up overhead, this is the time to do it. You can stay here just like me. On the next inhale, gently push through that heel to come up to neutral spine. And then exhale, straighten that front leg and come back in to that half split. Very gentle. Not going into the full expression of this pose. We're just doing this to give our lower back a little bit of a break. Come back up. Bring your left knee back to match with your right and move back into that child's pose. Your thighs are probably pretty warmed up. Your lower back is probably awake as well. Inhale, look forward. Come up into that tabletop. Step your right foot, your left foot back to meet it into your plank. Stay for your inhale, and then exhale, lower to your belly. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, and come back into a down dog. Let's stay here for a couple breaths. Bending your knees if you need to. In fact, I recommend really bending your knees to let your lower back release. And extend through your spine. Fingers are wide apart, pushing through the heels of your hand. Inhale. Begin to straighten your legs and lift your right leg up into a three-legged dog. And exhale, bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Most likely it's going to be right behind your right wrist. And we're going to begin to rest now into our pigeon. So look back behind you to make sure that your left leg is straight behind you. Your toes are pointing straight back. If you feel yourself rolling off of your hip, you can take your block or a blanket and put that right underneath your hip. But get into your pigeon, making sure that your back leg is straight. And once you get into your pigeon, you can keep your knee closed. I always start with my knee closed. That protects your knee. You can keep your left foot flexed. But if you have a little more flexibility and you practice pigeon quite often, you can bring your shin, your right shin, more towards your wrist, and so that it is parallel with the front edge of your mat. But start with your knee closed. Inhale, extend, and then exhale, you're going to walk your hands forward. Start out by coming down to your forearms. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Make sure your hips are staying centered, that you're not rolling over to the right side. Again, if you find yourself doing that, stuff a blanket or a block underneath your right hip to add that support. On your next exhale, you can come all the way down. You can rest your forehead on your hands, stacked hands if you like, or you can stack your fists. However you need it, you can take a block if you'd like to use a block to help support and lower down. Find your pigeon, your resting pigeon, and we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, lift your head. Come straight up, straighten your arms. Walk your hands back in towards your right shin. Tuck your left toes. Push back up into that three-legged dog. And exhale, lower back into your down dog. All right, inhale, lift your left leg up, three-legged dog, and exhale, bring your left knee in towards your your left wrist. Straighten that back leg. Look back, make sure you're not rolling out to the side or anything, that your back leg is straight. Closing your knee, stay here for a couple breaths, just get yourself situated. If you need the support underneath your left hip, grab a block or a blanket, stuff that right underneath it. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold over your left shin. Come to forearms first so you can get yourself situated into your pigeon. It might feel a little different on this side. And as you sit here, you decide what type of pigeon you want to move into. If you want to stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. If you have a bolster, you can use that, or your blocks. You can stack your fists. On the next exhale, we're going to move into our pigeon. And we'll stay here for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, lift your head and come up to those forearms. Straighten your arms out in front of you. Walk your hands in towards your left shin. Tuck your right toes. And then inhale, lift up into a three-legged dog. Left leg extends. And exhale, lower your foot to the mat into that downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, lower all the way to your knees. And we're going to invite in one more forward fold. Give a lot of extra love to our lower back. Grab your 2 blocks. Open your knees out as wide as your mat. So it's going to be a wide, try and get situated here, a wide legged child's pose. And you're going to take your 2 blocks somewhere. You're going to have them stack in front of them. So it's going to look like this, one in front of the other. Bring them in towards your hip. And we're just going to fold over this. Our chest and part of our belly is going to rest right on our blocks. So you might have to move your blocks around to get situated for your body. But go ahead and fold over and get yourself supported on your blocks. A bolster also works for this as well. And again, you'll have to move it around to get to where it works for you. But once you find it, it's a very comfy position. But find your supported child's pose. And we'll rest here for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, lift your head. Walk your hands back in towards your hips. Move your blocks out to the side. Roll over onto your back. Hands or feet are planted onto the mat. Inhale, bring your knees in towards your chest. Just hug them in, squeeze them in. And then begin to do a little bit of hip circles in one direction. This is where we give our lower back that mini massage. After a couple of breaths, reverse the direction. Come back to center, squeeze it all in, head towards your knees. On your exhale, release everything down. Arms come to your side, feet stretch out, down towards the end of the mat. Let your feet drop open. Roll your shoulders under. Just add a slight roll under. Get into your Shavasana. Make sure your shoulders are not up towards your ears. I'm gonna unhinge your jaw. So I like to kind of stick my tongue in between my teeth so I'm not clenching my jaw. You'd be surprised how often we do that without even realizing it. But just get yourself into your Shavasana, letting everything relax. And as we're here, let's take a deep inhale through our nose. Exhale, side out your mouth. Inhale one more time. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, side out. Begin your natural breathing rhythm, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. And let everything just relax. Quiet your mind. Quiet your body. And take rest in Shavasana. Begin to deepen your inhales and your exhales. Begin to invite movement back into your body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, rolling your wrists. Bring your legs in towards one another. Stretch your arms up overhead. Extend on a deep inhale. Reach toward the opposite sides of the room. And then exhale, bring your feet in towards, bend your knees. and towards your chest, and roll over to your right side, laying your right ear on your right bicep. As you lay here in your fetal position, check back in with your body. Thank it for everything that it does for you. Thank yourself for taking the time, spending that time on your mat today. On your next exhale, roll forward and push through your left arm, coming up to a comfortable seated position. See if you can keep your eyes closed the entire way up. If you can't, that's okay. Come up to that comfortable seated position, hands at heart center, eyes closed. Bow your head down towards your heart. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale gently, sigh it out your mouth. One more just like that. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. A couple more inhales and exhales through your nose. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you love and be loved. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for tonight's Zen-Chin yoga class. I really appreciate you all meeting me on your mat together, supporting one another on our yogic journey towards finding that inner peace. It's a lot of hard work, but having the support makes it a lot easier for us to walk along this path together. So if you liked this video, please like and subscribe to Zen-Chin Yoga's channel. Subscribing to it, you will receive notifications and be some of the first people to know when a new video is uploaded. And then please go and check out zenchinyoga.com. There you will find the chinchilla of the week, which has been super fun and super cute, meeting all the chinchillas all over the world. And then you have the opportunity there to sign up for the newsletter as well. Each week a newsletter is sent out to our Zen-Chin Yoga family with the new videos and any new special announcements. So it doesn't go out that often, so I promise you won't be bombarded with emails. I know we get a lot of emails on a daily basis, so check that out. Again, thank you so much for joining me for tonight's class, today, whatever time of the day it is for you, wherever you're at in the world. And I will see you all again very, very soon on the mat. Thank you again.